Compare these two growth rates. Since February 2026, engineering adoption for OpenAI's Codex grew by a multiple of 5. Over that same window, adoption within legal departments grew 108 times. This chart shows expansion into non-technical fields. Sales and recruiting saw 41-fold growth, marketing 26 times. These multiples start from a small base. They don't prove legal has more users than engineering, only that new adoption concentrates in business roles. OpenAI points to early examples of this speed. Virgin Atlantic reported engineering teams refactored legacy code in 30 minutes instead of 2 weeks, while product teams completed weeks of competitive research in hours. The data also suggests a generational split. 6 months after adoption, early career employees sent 13 more messages per week than senior executives. This concentration of use among early career staff in departments like legal and sales suggests that these models are moving beyond specialized coding utilities to function as general-purpose business engines. In the traditional assistance model, the AI acts as a conversational partner. It helps a human think through a problem by generating text within a chat interface. The execution model shifts the AI's role toward that of an agent. As this flowchart shows, instead of just talking, the model uses tools, creates files, and performs multi-step work that a human then reviews. Moving to an execution model changes the organizational requirement. It moves the focus from individual prompting to the management of autonomous multi-step cycles. By June 2026, Codex produced 64. A single prompt produces a small text cluster, while multi-step processes generate cascading blocks of tokens. Token share is a proxy for task depth and frequency, not a direct measure of company profit. However, tracking these tokens allows for a clear observation of the volume of background work an organization has successfully delegated to AI. OpenAI categorizes its users into frontier firms, the top 10% by token use, and typical firms, which sit near the 50th percentile. The gap between these two groups is widening. In January, frontier firms generated 2.6 times as many tokens per user as typical firms. By June, that gap grew to 8.3 times. This divergence indicates that while both groups have access to the same models, the top 10% are finding significantly more ways to deploy them. The usage of specific tools explains part of this gap. At frontier firms, 21% of weekly active users use plugins, compared to only 9% at typical firms. As illustrated, a plugin acts as a bridge connecting AI to company data and tools, enabling action over text generation. Frontier firms also utilize skills at 19% versus 3%, packaging successful workflows into repeatable modules for future work. Plugins and skills are the architectural components that enable execution. They turn a one-off chat into a repeatable organizational practice. The data suggests that simply granting employees access to a model does not automatically create enterprise value. Companies that see deep usage often pair the technology with investments in employee learning, shared workflows, and updated data infrastructure. When agents perform work autonomously, they require a new framework for oversight. This involves setting specific permissions and ensuring every multi-step task passes through a human review node before completion. This shift means the primary challenge for an organization is no longer technical procurement, but the design of its own internal processes. Organizations achieve the most value when they connect agents to internal context and transform effective individual habits into repeatable company-wide practices. With the technical ability to execute work now established, the focus shifts to the non-technical leads. They must now determine how to safely delegate their team's core work to these agents.